Hi Nitish, how are you doing?
Hi, Ankit. I'm doing well. Thank you. How are you?
Doing good. I'm letting other people in.
Yes.
Hi Chitransh,
Hello.
I'm letting other people in.
Yes.
Nice names. Are you getting people who are in the waiting room? Okay, I just change you into host.
Cool.
Hi Keshav, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm fine.
Where are you joining in from?
Just
You went on mute, Keshav. Chitransh, did you mute him by mistake?
No, I didn't. I think he said that he's about to come back.
Okay. Cool folks, we'll wait for some time for people to trickle in. Welcome to SigNoz community call. We are doing this after a long time.
Yes.
So great to see you folks here. Hi Shrikant.
Hello, Shrikant.
Hey everyone.
Cool. We'll wait for 1-2 minutes for more folks to join in. Then we'll start.
Yeah. In the meantime, we can have some introductions if someone is interested. Hi, Jiva. Hi, Cliff. Hi, Angelo. Hi, Sarant. Sarant. How do you pronounce that name?
Hi everyone.
Hello.
So my name is Ankit. I'm from the SigNoz team. I look after growth and community here.
Hi, I'm Chitransh. I'm also part of the SigNoz team. I work alongside Ankit, taking care of the growth part. And we do have some of our other team members joining in. We have Shrikant, who's part of our engineering team. And we also have Vishal.
Hi Vishal.
Vishal.
Good evening. Cool. Then I think we can get started.
Cool. Do we start?
Yeah, let's start.
Cool. Okay. Hi, folks. Thank you for joining in. So we'll start the call, the community call now. So I'm Chitransh. I'm part of SigNoz team. I take care of the growth, documentation, onboarding. So this is our first community call. It's been a long time since we have done something like this. So really excited to have you all here. So I'll just tell you a basic description about what's the agenda of the call. So, and what we will discuss majorly and what we will not, right? So in this call, majorly we are here to just take suggestions from the community about their experience of using SigNoz. if you have faced any issues regarding like broader issues, if you have faced regarding SigNoz, if you have any feature requests that you want us to take, and this general discussion about how has been your experience using SigNoz. And what we won't be doing is we won't be diving into troubleshooting specific queries about something that you're facing, right? So for that, we have better channels. So yeah, let's start. Is there anyone who wants to share their experience of using SigNoz? Folks, feel free to like unmute yourself and just like speak up. It's a free space. So space.
Hey, yeah, this is Jiva. So thanks, Tim, for making this call. So really, it's appreciated. So we have used the signals actually, the documentation wise, right? So it's really help us to integrate signals very quickly. So it's a time for the team, like So whatever the issue we are facing, we raise the Discord team. So they have answered immediately. So thank you for that. So really, it's appreciated. So it's a nice QA and everything.
That's really good to know, Jiva. Thank you for sharing that. We try our best to help every community member out in our Slack, right? So that's really good to know it has helped you.
Great. So I have a few concerns. So it's a right to talk now, or it's giving opportunity other folks to talk about the signals, then we can go. So
We can get started with the discussion, Jitansh.
Okay, cool. So I'll just so we follow a process, the agile coffee format for our discussions. I'll just share the process a bit here. Cool. This is what we use. I'll just paste the link here in the chat. So we use this agile coffee format for our discussions. What you can do is we'll take some time, like 5-7 minutes. You can write down your items that you want to discuss, whatever doubts, whatever points you want to discuss, and we'll take it from here. You also have a feature to vote. So the discussion item that gets the most vote, we take it up first, and we'll just keep on discussing the items in the list. So feel free to add some items here, right? And we will take it up from here.
Yeah, folks, feel free to add in anything that you want to get discussed, and also feel free to vote on the other items that you would like to get discussed in the call. We'll also time box each discussion, like we'll time box each of the items to about 5 to 7 minutes. Is everyone able to access the board?
Yep, we can.
Great. Cool. So is everyone done with adding their items? Cool. I don't see any other item being created, Chitransh. So I think we can start the discussion. Feel free to add in more items, folks.
Yeah, folks. You can add in more item as we keep discussing. So I'll just start with. So we have two upvotes for two items. I'll just pick one of them. So there's this last query that someone wrote, enabling matrix drop-down suggestion in PromQL query builder as well, like the standard query builder. So like they're suggesting to enable the matrix drop-down in PromQL query builder as well. So the person who is asking this question, can you share a bit more context about it?
Yeah. Can you hear me well?
Yeah.
Yeah, Aish.
Yeah. Hi. So basically, we have been using SigNoz for like 6-7 months now, and we earlier were using a standard Prometheus stack along with your general ELK stack. And while the query builder is really powerful and we often use it, of course there are going to be some limitations as if you want to customize a query enough. So yeah, just a minor UI suggestion. It's not that big of a restructuring, I guess. And but yeah, I think like the query builder, if you want to look for a metric, whether that exists or not, and you're not sure about what the exact metric is called. So the query builder allows you to give you suggestions based on a drop down. But in PromQL, if that can happen as well, yeah, I think that would be a great add-on. Since we are purely on PromQL, since we have, as I said, we migrated from an existing setup. So we migrated all of our queries from there. So yeah, uh, among other discussion items, I would say this is not a very, like, it's not the most high priority one, of course,
No,
but
yeah, but that's a fair ask, Ayush. What we'll do is we'll create an issue around this on our GitHub repo, and we'll see if we can like when we can prioritize this on our sprint planning. We'll see if other committee members also comment on the GitHub repo, and then we can prioritize accordingly. But yeah, that's a fair ask. I think a dropdown does help while creating any kind of dashboard.
yeah, yeah, and in general, yeah, great work at SigNoz, guys. Really enjoyed it too.
So you are primarily using SigNoz for metrics monitoring.
We're using it for metrics and logs currently. We are about to go into instrumentation and tracing, and yeah, we are about to adopt it fully. We have not leveraged the full power yet.
Okay, cool, Ayush. I think we can take up the next item, Chitransh.
Yeah. So the next item is in my infrastructure, I'm using Prometheus stack, which has 142 default rules. So it's a very big discussion item. So the person asking this, can you share more context around it?
Yeah, before we are using SigNoz, right? So we have a Prometheus stack in infrastructure level, okay? If I install the Prometheus stack, right, automatically default some rules are there. Like, if part goes down or part goes, some replica setting is and the replica couldn't reach or CPU leverage goes up or something kind of issue, right? The alert automatically triggers and will get a notification, okay? How we have means the Prometheus have alert monitoring. We have enabled the alert monitoring. We have configured everything. So the rules automatically triggers and we get the notification. Okay. But currently SigNoz, we have disabled the YAML configuration. We can configure via UI, not a YAML. So think about, we have a 150 rules means how can I configure via UI 150 rules? Okay. If you people provide us some YAML kind of rights, it's easiest to configure, at a one time. Also, even promoting to the another environment, right? So it's a dev means I can configure everything in the UI. If I promote to UAT or some other environments, I need to same thing, repeat the same configuration in the UI again, right? So it's a duplication of lot of manual work we have to do if you are using the UI. So that's why, is there any roadmap is there, or so what is the approach you could follow? Hope you got my.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it makes sense. Like if you do get like a YAML configuration file that you can set up instead of doing it in the UI. But not sure if this is planned out ahead or not. Like Shrikant, Vishal, do you have any opinion on this? Like, would we be taking this kind of thing up, or is there a better way to do this in the UI itself?
Not exactly ML, but we will have something we will have something like Terraform provider that one can use to manage them, like in different environments, number of them. So that's something work in progress. But alerts as a code or dashboards as a code, like like where you see like the background that you are coming from, that may not be like it's something that we are kind of aware of, but yeah, the Terraform provider is something that you will see soon. But the background that you are coming from, the alerts as a code where you set up them in ML, that's not supported yet. It's something that we haven't seen much of interest. There was interest, but not too much of an interest. It also not from a it also from a technical perspective, it also needs a much work from, like it's either the static file, or it's either the something that one can edit in the UI. So there are a lot of nuances around like supporting that. But what you will see is the in near future is the Terraform provider.
Cool. I think Viva, what like from what I have understood, there hasn't been that much interest in the kind of configuration that you might be looking for, like Shrikant mentioned. But it would be great if you can just create an issue around it. Maybe if people show more interest around this could be picked up on priority. But yeah, you can check out the Terraform provider that will be coming out soon.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll take up the next question. So there's this question around API. We have a critical external API called linked to multiple microservices in a linear chain. If the response time of this API is very high, can we set up alerts specifically for this API instead of getting alerts for all dependent layers? So the person asking this question, can you share more context around this?
Hi, this is Keshav here.
I guess.
So basically our use case is, so suppose we have some external supplier vendor any API, right? And we call that API, and like in our case we have lots of microservices, and each microservices depend on each other, and in the end it depends on that external API. So whenever that external API's response time is very high, so we get alerts on all layers because overall response time increases for each layer, right? And so that creates lots of noise. So is it possible to have alert only on that particular layer, the external one? We'll get alert that for that API, particular API, it has increased, and not get that extra noise on other layers. Something like.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah,
go ahead.
Shrikant.
No, go ahead.
I think you can set up alert over the external API because you have instrumented it properly. Then that external API would be appearing as a different endpoint altogether. So you can set up an alert with the query builder easily. And to reduce the noise, what I think is like you can use formula to do that. So you can write multiple queries. So one query is for the microservice which is calling that external API, and then another query is that external API is latency, and you can subtract both of them in a formula, and then you can create an alert of that. I hope, Shrikant, it's the correct way, or you have any other ideas?
Yeah, that's one way to solve it. That should be fine.
Okay.
If it's not clear, maybe create an issue. I think some of the context we may not really understand your use case.
Yeah.
It's a better.
Keshav, I think you can try out the suggestions made by Vishal first, and if you still like feel there should be more context around this and there should be more discussion, feel free to write this out in our Slack community, and we can help you out there more efficiently, right? And you can
Okay,
tag you can tag me and other people from our
I'll raise that there also. And actually, recently we had a discussion about this specific use case with the Datadog. So basically, we wanted it as a feature, like if it is possible to configure it, and they also didn't have this. That's the only reason like we were trying here. And like in our company, we used to have New Relic, but due to costs, we have stopped using that, and that's why we are on the hunt to do. I'll raise that.
Yeah, I think it should be possible with SigNoz. As I described, you can like write out in the community and tag me or Shrikant as well in the community itself. So continue the discussion there, I guess.
Sure.
Good. Thank you. Yeah, so let's take a bit of a break from this. So we have Darren Smith from our community. So Darren had used this SigNoz API with some LLMs, right? I'm not sure what exactly he did, but Darren, if you mind sharing your experience using SigNoz.
So yeah, so to be honest, the reason why I was looking at that was due to the lack of the Terraform provider. So if that's coming soon, then the stuff I was doing wouldn't necessarily need. So basically, to cut a long story short, I use New Relic everywhere. I'm a partner of New Relic. However, I can't use New Relic in China. And I have a couple of China-based customers that need some form of observability. So what we were looking for across the marketplace was a tool that could help with those specific requirements, that still have the ability to have a single pane of glass where we can send logs and metrics and traces into one place to be able to service those kind of needs. Now, because we have to do this en masse, on scale, etc., having a strong kind of orchestration as code tool is important to us. So what I was doing just to kind of get us going is using an LLM to basically take the API schema from your source code and your documentation and to generate some code. I chose Pulumi because I'm a TypeScript node developer, and we started creating some very high level dynamic resource providers to try and manage the users and dashboards, etc., because there was no Terraform provider. Yeah. Now, obviously, the open source version of SigNoz doesn't come with the concept of API keys that I can generate statically. I understand that's only in the kind of enterprise version. So I had to go down the route of logging in as my user, getting my auth token, and using that to administer the accounts, if that makes sense, just using the Pulumi provider. So that's what I was up to. So in terms of the Terraform stuff, again, if that is going to kind of deal with the kind of the main primitives of kind of alert creation, user creation, dashboard management, etc., then yeah, that's going to kind of help a lot of stuff. And then obviously anybody that does use tools like Pulumi can then use the Terraform provider under the hood as well. So you kind of, I guess, get more bang for your buck in terms of ecosystem.
Cool. I think
for sharing your experience. Is this Terraform item created by you under discussion items?
No. I didn't add any comments in today. I joined a few minutes late as well. Many things going on.
Okay, that's fine.
But definitely interested to find more details on the Terraform stuff, and happy to kind of have conversations there.
Maybe we can start a GitHub discussion around this. So the next question is around Terraform provider only. Chitran, can you share that?
Yeah. So it's about, will the Terraform provider feature allow us to treat dashboards and alerts as Terraform resources? Can we get the URL of any subtext related to the upcoming feature? So the person asking this, can you explain it a bit more?
Yeah, I was just really curious about the Terraform feature, and the earlier question I asked was already it is now a duplicate. I had the same kind of pain point, basically having a large number of alerts and dashboards, and in case of disaster recovery situation, it can get it can get very time consuming to get back all the alerts and dashboards. So I just wanted to get more information basically on that feature, or if through the chat or like through another link.
Let me do one thing. I'll create a GitHub discussion around this, and I'll share the link in the community by tomorrow.
Sure. Yeah.
Cool. So we can move on to the next question.
Chitrans, I think you can share your screen so that.
Yeah, Vishal, I'm doing that. So this is the next question. We couldn't import the Grafana dashboard JSON because the button is disabled. So the person asking this question, can you explain a bit more about this? What use case you were looking into?
No, in the UI, right? So SigNoz UI, we have a dashboard import option, right? In that import option, we have a Grafana and then SigNoz, okay? So we have already developed a lot of dashboard, based on the Grafana. So we have a Grafana JSON, we can import directly, okay? But currently SigNoz UI doesn't support because the button is disabled. I'm not sure why. So what we are doing, right? We have to currently, convert from the Grafana to SigNoz related attribute, right? We have to change an input. So that's why I'm just wondering, what is the reason for disabling the Grafana?
Do we have, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the reason we disabled it was because it wasn't it was breaking, and it had a lot of edge cases. It was mostly breaking. Although the idea was to be heuristic, because Grafana has n number of versions. The idea was to be able to allow anything, and it was breaking. The other we have over the time we have updated our query builder, and we wanted that needs to be synced with whatever the Grafana what it was doing, and it's also there's also what the Grafana variables cannot be transparently moved to the SigNoz variables because the way the underlying queries work. So it's mainly disabled for all these reasons. When it will be enabled back, when it will be support, it's not something we have in our immediate roadmap. But something migrating from the existing ecosystems is something that we want everybody who tries to have. But it's this specific feature we it's not something in our immediate roadmap.
Okay.
Shrikant, I have a question. Can someone who has dashboards in Grafana, can they easily create the same dashboards in SigNoz?
The idea behind this import was to that make it easier. When you say easier, that's the easiest way possible to simply import it. That was the main idea. Now today, if you ask, no, there's no very quick way to.
Yeah. Cool. I think we will move.
So anything that you would like to the more activity that we see on the issues helps kind of get an idea how many people want it. So if you see something missing, please leave a comment or leave an upvote at least there, so that it gives a big picture of what's the interest on this specific feature, so that we can try to prioritize appropriately.
Makes sense. So what we generally do is like we track issues for prioritization. So if you feel that some feature might be crucial, you can open up a issue around it and start a discussion on GitHub discussion or Slack, and we can see if there is a like good enough interest from the community for this. So maybe we can prioritize it. Cool. So there's another question. I'm using OpenTelemetry and we have a tool called SigNoz with us. I'm curious how SigNoz is collecting metrics, etc. If we have bit of background on this. The person asking this question, can you give more context about what specifically you want to know?
Yeah, if you are shy, no need to give context. I imagine SignalFX you must be using. SignalFX has their like now they provide their own wrappers around OpenTelemetry. But with SigNoz you don't need there are no other like the wrappers. You can directly send from there. In terms of metrics, not sure what you are using for metrics collection SignalFX. You're probably using their collector. So we have our own distribution of the like SignalFX, but you don't need to use that. You can use the same upstream collector, which can collect your infrastructure metrics or any metrics that you are interested, like scrape metrics from somewhere else and send directly to SigNoz. So the collection is not like SigNoz as a system can collect it, but as a main deployment of a SigNoz may not necessarily do the collection part. You can run the OpenTelemetry collector contrib agent on your machines, which collect the data and send them to the SigNoz main where the data gets stored.
Cool. I hope this answers the question. So the last question, moving on to last question. Have you got any guidance and or comments about scalability of SigNoz in terms of handling large number of matrices and logs, like peak scale type of events? So the person asking the question, can you share more about what kind of scale you're talking about? Share more details on this.
Yeah, that was me again. Basically, I guess in terms of this stuff, as I said earlier, in a new Relic world, I don't have to worry about it unless their entire region goes down. So for one particular client, they have, it's kind of, I guess, very bursty traffic in terms of a B2B type environment. So when they go on sale, suddenly kind of hundreds, if not thousands of orders are happening in a short period of time, and then it'll disappear again. Obviously, at the moment, we're looking at how we build some of this stuff out. So because it's in China, I don't want to use a SaaS platform. I don't want to have all of this traffic going through the Great Firewall. So we're looking at building some of this stuff out. They happen to use the kind of, I guess, local equivalent of AWS. So we're having to go down the route of ECS. So I found one of, I guess, one of your community guys, Wednesday somebody, has built a ECS pattern for deploying SigNoz already. So I'm looking kind of scale out, trying to make sure that we can productionize some of this stuff. So it was a case of just trying to understand from yourselves whether there are any kind of learnings that you've had in terms of kind of large scale events. Again, I don't know the product. Yeah, I don't know kind of, obviously different companies will be at different scales, etc. But yeah, this is a reasonable size e-commerce platform that they want to ingest data from.
So you want to if the requirement is that there will be sudden peak, then like you initially want to plan for it, not that you have to plan for exact peak, that you will have to plan for that. Okay, what is the, like, you do the capacity planning once and see, okay, so this is my like a regular rate at which the ingestion will be happening at let's say it's a higher, like little bit of more, like at what is your regular rate and what is your peak, and then what is the what is in between that you can like provision little bit more. Okay, so you have your regular rate, and then there may be at some point in future that can peak. You do your capacity planning and provision in such a way that you're immediately, like, I'm assuming that the peak is not going to be like it's going to be over a period of time, like even that period can be little bit of like minutes, several minutes, etc. But that's one, like that you do that planning, and then one way to like like you at that scale you may have to introduce streaming, so that you don't lose the data. Like today, if you have these collectors that won't be able to write to the database, or database is not keeping up, you need some place to persist the data.
Yep.
So that it can be eventually processed and not get dropped. There are a number of, like, there's a couple of ways to do it. The OpenTelemetry collector provides a disk based like queuing exporter mechanism, where data gets any data that arrives first gets buffered to the disk, and then it will try to export wherever it is, like whether even in like a plain simple SigNoz Docker setup, you can configure it that the data gets buffered to disk first, and then can be sent later, any setup. So that's one way to do it. And the other way to do it, introduce some streaming. OpenTelemetry provides this Kafka exporters and receivers, where you stream, like you introduce this component between, and then you passes the data there, and then the OpenTelemetry again has the Kafka receivers. This received data can be then can be consumed by the other set of collectors after the Kafka, and then that can write to ClickHouse. So this is you want to plan it for that, so that the data won't be lost. They may not be immediately available, and then how do you process the data before it actually goes through? And like you want to at that scale, you want to write data as immediately as possible, so you better avoid the whatever the batching that you have before the persistence layer, and write the data immediately as much as possible. So that's roughly how you can answer it.
Yeah. So I'm used to Kafka and stuff on other clients, for not for OpenTelemetry, but for normal event processing. So yeah, I guess it kind of makes sense batching the stuff and then having consumers, as you said, writing the data in afterwards, and then scaling out the ClickHouse database as and when you need to. Are you guys using that kind of thing on your SaaS platform then, in terms of Kafka bridges and stuff in the middle? I guess what I was looking for was, hopefully you had some benchmark somewhere that said, I don't know, on a 4-core box, open kind of telemetry can handle X amount of metrics per minute, that type of stuff. Just I think in terms of getting more and more adoption of the product set for people that are having to self-host, having some of that to give people confidence that'd be useful in future. Just food for thought. We'll end up doing our own testing anyway. But yeah, that was the basis of the question.
Yeah, we don't have any benchmarks per se, but this is the if you take any vendor who is into this space, and then who is also building on top of OpenTelemetry, it's like these components that exist in OpenTelemetry, the Kafka receiver and exporter, they are added for this, because that's you at some point at a certain scale, like you have to introduce this kind of mechanism, whether it's Kafka or whatever it is, anything that supports the protocol. So it's fairly common practice beyond a certain point. We don't have any benchmarks yet, but for the scale, anything that you mentioned, it's kind of inevitable that kind of have to introduce that layer.
Yeah, and I think for some of the stuff as well, I mean, as I said, whilst I'm used to dropping in agents, obviously having to roll stuff yourself with OpenTelemetry is a bit more interesting. So we're going through that whole pain of kind of trying to write our own spans and all of the rest of it, and just realize, I guess, how we've taken for granted some of the auto instrumentation that some of the paid providers kind of give you. So as an example, it's a Magento 2 platform. So having to hook into all of the classes manually because there's no OpenTelemetry kind of hooks for naming spans and this type of stuff. Having a look at some of the kind of OpenTelemetry PDO modules as an example, suddenly on one request, we now have 878 spans. A developer literally has just messaged me because it's all or nothing. Yeah, so prepare and execute and fetch all and kind of all of this type of stuff. Just the sheer amount of data is going to be interesting. So yeah, very much a learning curve. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dan. Cool, folks. I think we are done with the discussion items. So yeah, thank you so much for joining in. We will be doing a community call very soon. The next community call very soon. So yeah, thank you for joining in. Thank you for asking questions. And if you have any further queries, you can always reach out to us on the Slack community. Yeah, thank you so much.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you for joining in.
Great work at SigNoz, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.